Okay, and we're back. Welcome back, everybody. Let's go ahead and let's switch on over so we can do some ASMR. Alright, look at the tree. It is. Let me actually adjust the cake. Put it right here so you guys can see it. There we go. Perfect. All right. Hopefully everybody is nice and cozy. Emma! Hi, Emma. Welcome in, welcome in. Envo, thank you so much for the coffee order. Let's see. Where is... Okay. Okay. I think we are all pretty much set. I just need to mute some of these. All right. You know what? I need to add one more thing. I feel that would be very, very beneficial for the scene. All right, there we go. All right, so we're going to be reading a story tonight called The Haunted Man and the Ghost's Bargain. Wouldn't mute you, would you? Mute you? Why would I mute you? Just to shower myself. Love the tree. Isn't the tree looking so good? We filled it out very nicely. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out with me while we put the tree together. We did some ornaments, we made a couple, we changed a couple different colors. But what we're going to do tonight is we're going to be doing some reading of a book. Because you said mute. Huh? I did? But how are you, Emma? How's your night? Thank you so much for the biddies. Thank you, thank you. Merry Christmas Eve. Merry Christmas Eve. It is midnight here. It is Christmas Eve. Oh my gosh. It is Christmas Eve officially for me as well. Okay, if you guys want to follow along, here is the story. Gaga, can you please pin that to the top of chat? Alright. Excellent. There we go. I think we are perfectly situated. I did want to change one other thing. I'm gonna change just one other little thing. In excelsis Alright, there we go. Is everybody ready? Hi, Sheikah! Welcome in. I'm looking for some like melancholic piano. Let's see. Ooh. Yeah. This feels about right. YouTube open my PC. Yeah, yes. So I am trying to get monetized over on YouTube. So if you guys can do me a favor, if you can open up a tab and have it open while we read, that would really help me. I'm going to switch over to my reading glass and we're going to do some reading. Okay. Hi Vlad. Happy holidays. Happy holidays to you as well. Hope you're doing good. Headphones off right when you said that. Could you repeat? It's okay. I got it. I was just asking if you can pin the book to the top of chat. But I got that. There you go. I pinned it. We're all set. We are all set. Okay. Like always, while I'm reading, I will not be able to look at chat as often. But feel free to get cozy and relax and get nice and comfortable while we read The Haunted Man and the Ghost's Bargain. Chapter 1, The Gift Bestowed. Everybody said so. Far be it from me to assert what everybody else says must be true. Everybody is, often, as likely to be wrong as right. In the general experience, everybody has been wrong so often, and it is taken in most instances such a weary while to find out how wrong that the authority is proved to be fallible. Everybody may sometimes be right, but that's no rule, as the ghosts of Giles Scroggins says in the ballad. The dead word, ghost, recalls me. Everybody said he looked like a haunted man. The extent of my present claim for everybody is that they were so far right. He did. Who could have seen his hollow cheek, his sunken, brilliant eye, his black as tired figure, indefinably grim, although well knit and well proportioned, his grizzled hair hanged like tangled seaweed about his face, as if he had been, through his whole life, a lonely mark for the chafing and beating of the great deep of humanity, but might have said he looked like a haunted man. Who could have observed his manner, taciturn, thoughtful, gloomy, shadowed by habitual reserve, retiring always and Johnsoned never, with a distraught air of reverting to a bygone place and time, or if listening to some old echoes in his mind, but might have said it as the manner of a haunted man. Who could have heard his voice, low speaking, deep and grave, with a natural fullness and a melody in it which he seemed to set himself against and stop, but might have said it was the voice of a haunted man? Who had seen him in his inner chamber, part library, part laboratory, for he was, as the world knew, far and wide, a learned man in chemistry, and a teacher in whose lips and hands a crown of aspiring ears and eyes hung daily? Who that had seen him there upon a winter night, alone, surrounded by his drugs and instruments and books, the shadow of his shaded lamp, a monstrous beetle on the wall, motionless among a crowd of spectral shapes raised there by the flickering of the fire upon the quaint objects around him? Some of these phantoms, the reflection of glass vessels that held liquids, trembled a heart-like thing that knew his power to combine them, and to give their component parts to fire and vapor. Who had seen him then, his work done, and he pondered in his chair before the rustled gate and red flame, moving his thin mouth as if in speech, but silent as the dead? Who would have said that the man some seemed haunted, and the chamber too? Who might not, by a very easy flight of fancy, have believed that everything about him took this haunted tone, and that he lived on haunted ground? His dwelling was so solitary and vault-like, an old retired part of an ancient endowment for students, once a brave edifice planted in an open place, but now the obsolete whim of forgotten architects, smoke-age and weather-darkened, squeezed on every side by the overgrown of the great city, and choked like an old well with stones and bricks. Its small quadrangles lying down in very pits formed by the streets and buildings, which, of course of time, had been constructed above its very chimney stacks. Its old trees, insulted by the neighboring smoke, which deigned to droop so low when it was very feeble and the weather very moody. Its grass plots, struggling with the mildew earth to be grass, or to win by show of compromise, its silent pavements, unaccustomed to the threat of feet, and even to the observation of eyes, except when a stray face looked down from the upper world, wondering what nook it was, its sundial in a little brick upper corner, where no sun had strangled for 100 years, but where, in compensation for the sun's neglect, the snow would lie for weeks when it lay nowhere else, and the black east wind would spin like a huge humming top, when in all other places it was silent and still. His dwelling in its heart and core, within doors, and his fireside, was so lowering and old, so crazy yet so strong, with its worm-eaten beams of wood in the ceiling, and its sturdy floor shelving downwards to the great oak chimney piece. So environed and hemmed in by the pressure of the town, yet so remote in fashion and custom, so quiet, yet so thundering, with echoes when a distant voice was raised or a door was shut. Echoes not confined to the many low passages and empty rooms, but rumbling and grumbling till they were stifled in the air of the forgotten crypt where the Norman arches were half buried in the earth. You should have seen him in his dwelling about twilight, in the dead of winter time, when the wind was blowing shrill and shrewd with the going down of the blurred sun, when it was just so dark as that the forms of things were indistinct and big, but not wholly lost, when sitters by the fire began to see wild faces and figures, mountains and abysses, ambuscades? What is that word? Ambuscade. Ambuscades? An ambush. Ambush. Okay. And armies in the coals. When people in the streets bent down their heads and ran before the weather. When those who were obliged to meet it were stopped at angry corners, stung by wandering snowflakes aligned on the lashes of their eyes, which fell too sparingly, and were blown away too quickly to leave a trace upon the frozen ground. When window of private houses closed up tight and warm, when lighted gas began to burst forth in the busy and the quiet streets, fast blackening otherwise, when stray pedestrians shivered along the ladder, looked down at the glowing fires in the kitchens and shaped their sharp appetites by sniffing up the fragrance of whole miles of dinners. When travelers by land were bitter cold and looked wearily on gloomy landscapes, rustling and shuddering in a blast. When mariners at sea outlying in icy yards were tossed and swung above the howling ocean dreadfully. When lighthouses on rocks and headlands showed solitary and watchful, and benign the seabirds breasted on against their ponderous lanterns, and fell dead. When the little readers of storybooks by the firelight trembled to think of Kasim Baba cut into quarters, hanging in the robber's cave, or had some small misgiving that the fierce little old woman in the church, He used to start out of the box in the merchant Abuda's room. Abuda's bedroom, might one of these nights be found upon the stairs in the long, cold, dusky journey up to bed. When, in rustic places, the last glimmering of daylight died away from the ends of avenues, and the trees arched overhead were sullen and black. When in parks and woods the high wet fern and sodden moss and beds of fallen leaves and trunks of trees were lost to view in masses of impenetrable shade. When mists arose from dike and fern and river, when lights in old halls and the cottage windows were a cheerful sight, when the mill stopped, the wheelwright and the blacksmith shut their workshops, the turnpike gate closed, the plough and harrow were left lonely in the field, and the labourer and team went home, and the striking of the church clock had a deeper sound than at noon, and the churchyard wicket would be swung no more that night. When twilight everywhere released the shadows, prisoned up all day, that now closed in and gathered like mustering swarms of ghosts, when they stood lowering in the corners of the room and frowned out from behind half-open doors, when they had full possession of unoccupied apartments, when they danced upon the floors and walls and the ceilings of inhabited chambers, while the fire was low, and withdrew like ebbing waters when it sprang into a blaze. When they fantastically mocked the shapes of household objects, making the nurse an ogress, the rocking horse a monster, the wandering child half scared and half amused, a stranger to itself, the very tongues of the earth, a straddling giant with arms akimbo, evidently smelling the blood of Englishmen and wanting to grind people's bones to make his bread. When these shadows brought into the minds of older people other thoughts and showed them different images, when they stole from the retreats and the likeness of forms and faces from the past, from the grave, from the deep, deep gulf where things that might have been and never were always wandering. Mumefi, and thanks for the follow. Welcome, and hi Carnage, how are you? Scientist with an arm made of gears. Are you talking about Kai Kai? About Kai Gearhart? I do know Kai. Hi Super, welcome in. Merry Christmas Super. Hi Bellmaster, how are you? How's your night? Hope you're doing good. Obliterator, hi, welcome in, how are you Obliterator? I feel like I'm suddenly very quiet again. Melancholic story is one of my favorite kinds. Yeah. So we are reading, the name of the book is called, it's in the title, The Haunted Man and the Ghost's Bargain. It is a Charles Dickens Christmas story. So, but it is a ghost story. All set and comfy. Yeah, nice and cozy. Celebrating Christmas with my family. Well, that's good. That's good. Hope you're having a good one, Sega. Super, I will add your ornament by the end of the night. I'm not going to be doing any more right now because we are doing reading time. But I will get to it, I promise you, okay? Hi Fish, Merry Christmas. Fish, we got your ornament on the tree. Merry Christmas, Mama Riffin. Mum Miffin. Yes, absolutely. I think I should be heading to EPs now. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your stream. Thank you so much, Fish. Thank you. You have a good rest. Good night, good night. Good night, good night. Rest well. Doing well, having trouble sleeping. I thought I could store help. Yeah, hopefully it does help. Thank you for the coffee orders. Been through as well. It's been a nice one. Doing good. I'm doing good. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. To anyone who is new and coming in right now, I usually go live also on my YouTube channel, so if you can do me a favor, if you can open a tab and just keep it open, you don't have to be active over there. I only really look at my Twitch chat, but the added view definitely helps. I'm gonna go ahead and get back into the story. When he sat, as already mentioned, gazing at the fire, when as it rose and fell the shadows went and came, when he took no heed of them, and his bodily eyes, but let them come or let them go, looked fixedly at the fire, you should have seen him then. Give me a second, hold on. I have to close my windows. Yeah, I could smell a skunk, so I'm closing my window so the smell doesn't come into my room anymore than it already did. Ugh. Okay. It's probably like not near me, but it wasn't me. Well, you're a bear, you're not a skunk. Because I had my windows open and it started to rain, so I can smell. Misa! Hi, Misa. Thank you so much for the raid. Welcome on in, Raiders. Welcome to Favorite Cafe. I'm Mukya. I'm a siren with necrotic affliction, and I run a cafe. Because I like a drink, we do tea, but coffee, hot cocoa, however, the cake is extra. How was your stream, beautiful? You were doing some just chatting. How did the just chatting go? Skyzer and Junie Berry, thanks for the follow. Welcome and how are you? How's your night? Cake. We got cake. We have some cake right there. You can see it. It's right under chat. So you can have as much as you'd like because somebody already paid for it. Undercover agent Misa Heist. Oh, you're gonna steal the kite? The cake, aren't you? Yes, you're stealing the cake kite. But hopefully you had a good time. What were you doing? It says just chatting. What were you doing? My cake all mine. What? But you didn't pay for it. Stealing the cake. No! Don't steal. You know what, Misa? Okay, you can steal the cake. I'm not gonna stop you. I can just make more. No big deal. It's just cake. But welcome on in, Raiders. Sorry, I'll put it back. No, you can have some. You can definitely have some. Of course you can. Hi, Budgies, welcome in. More cake. All the cake for Misa. It's true. But welcome on in, Raiders. Hope you guys had a fun time with Misa. Did you play anything today? Miles away. When it rains, it's true, I can. No. Hi, Autumn. How are you, handsome? Autumn, do you see your tree? We've got a nice looking tree. Just chatting. Oh, that sounds awesome. We decorated our tree a little bit more. We added some colored solid baubles, as well as added some custom ones for people. And now I am reading. Misa, hold on, I have to show you. Look. Look. Christmas outfit. I got the Christmas outfit. What do you think? So cute. Isn't it cute? And it has snowflake. You can probably see it better over here. It has snowflake like skirt effect. And if you look at the skirt right here, right? It has like falling snowflakes. And then Anyways. Your head. I was shrugging, severe shrugging. I told you it was an asset. There we go. Very pretty, right? I like it. It's super cute. I think it fits. But Misa, I know you had a long stream, so if you need to raid and run, I completely understand. But if you want to lurk and hang out, you're more than welcome to. Just make sure to go to your after stream care, okay? We are doing some reading. We are reading a scary Christmas story called A Haunted Man. I always want to say gentleman, but it's A Haunted Man and the Ghost's Bargain. So if you'd like to stay for the reading, you're obviously more than welcome to. Just make sure to go to your after stream care first. And getting some work done, thank you. Of course, of course. Alright, let me do something really quick. I have to adjust this because now it's not like what I need it to be, you know? Let me just fix this really quick. If I... Is that the right one? Yes, much better. Okay, we fixed it. And let's see, did we fix also that? Because I know Gaga. Let's see. Nope. We can still do the gray. We can still do the red, but that's fine. Anyways, okay. Let's get back into position so we can read. Alright. When the sound that had arisen from the shadows had come out of their lurking place at the twilight summons, seemed to make a deeper stillness all about him. When the wind was rumbling in the chimney and sometimes crooning. Oh, I'm so sorry. Cole 99? And Noah is Noah. Thank you so much for the follows. Welcome and welcome in. How are you? Annie! Hi Annie! Welcome in, welcome in. Rain, have a good lurk. Misa, thank you for the flowers. Annie, how are you, beautiful? Thank you so much for the 8 months. Small. Very small. How are you? How are you? We are doing some reading tonight, Annie, so if you want to get nice and cozy, you're more than welcome to. You can use my lap as a pillow if you'd like. Have a good lurk, Misa. Okay. Alright. Oof, my coffee's still warm, thank God. When the sound that had arisen from the shadows and come out of the lurking places at the twilight summons seemed to make a deeper stillness all about him, when the wind was rumbling in the chimney and sometimes crooning, sometimes howling in the house, when the old trees outside were so shaken and beaten that one querulous old rook, unable to sleep, protested now and then in a feeble dozing high up caw. Hold on, let me do that again. Caw! When at intervals the windows trembled, the rusty vane upon the turret top complained. The clock beneath it recorded that another quarter of an hour was gone, or the fire collapsed and fell with a rattle. When a knock came at the door, in short, as he was sitting so, and roused him. saw your artwork tree. It's pretty cool. Right, yeah. The tree looks so good. Autumn did a tree too. Autumn did a tree. They gave me my ornament and I was gonna add it to the tree, but I wanted to add everybody else's first. And then I'll probably add mine last. But Autumn, we got yours on there. It looks so cute. You did people names as well. You did. It looks so good. When a knock came at his door, in short, as he was sitting so, and roused him. "Who's that?" said he. "Come in." Surely there had been no figure leaning on the back of his chair, no face looking over it. It is certain that no gliding footsteps touched the floor as he lifted up his head with a start and spoke. And yet there was no mirror in the room on whose surface his own form could have cast its shadow for a moment, and something had passed darkly and gone. "I'm humbly fearful, sir," said a freshly coloured busy man, holding the door open with his foot for the admission of himself and a wooden tray he carried, and letting it go again by very gentle and careful degrees, when he and the trade had got in lest it should close noisily, "that it's a good bit past time tonight, but Miss William has been taken off her legs so often. By the wind? I have heard it rising. By the wind, sir, but it's a mercy she got home at all." "Oh dear, yes. Yes, it was by the wind, Mr. Redlaw, by the wind." He had by this time put down the tray for dinner, and was employed in lighting the lamp, and spreading a cloth on the table. From this employment he designed in a hurry to stir and feed the fire, and then resumed it. The lamp he had lighted, and the blaze that rose under his hand so quickly changing the appearance of the room, that it seemed as if the mere coming in of his fresh red face and active manner had made the pleasant alteration. "Mrs. Williams is of course subject at any time, sir, to be taken off her balance by the elements. She is not formed superior to that." "No," returned Mr. Redlaw good-naturedly, though abruptly. "No, sir, Miss Williams may be taken off her balance by earth, as an example. Last Sunday week, when sloppy and greasy, she got out of the tea with her newest sister-in-law, and having a pride in herself and wish to appear perfectly spotless through pedestrian, Mrs. Williams may be taken off her balance by air, as being once over-persuaded by a friend to try a swing of Peckham Fair, when acted on her constitution instantly like a steamboat. Miss Williams may be taken off her balance by water, as at Battersea when rowed into the piers by her young nephew, Charlie Swedger Jr., aged 12, which he had no boats whatsoever. But these are elements. Mrs. Williams must be taken out of elements for the strength of her character to come into play." As he stopped for a reply, the reply was, "Yes," in the same tone as before. "Yes, sir. Oh dear, yes," said Mr. Swidner, still proceeding with his preparations and checking them off as he made them. "That's where it is, sir. That's what I always say to myself, sir. Such a many of us switchers, Pepper. Why, there's my father, sir, superannuated keeper and custodian of the institution, 87 years old. He's a switcher. Spoon. True, Williams, with the patient and abstract answer when he stopped again. "Yes, sir," said Mr. Swidner. "That's what I always say, sir. You may call him the trunk of trees, bread. Then you come into his successor, my worthy self, salt, and Mrs. Williams, Swigner both, knife and fork. Then you come to my brothers and the families, Swigner, man and woman, boy and girl. Why, what with cousins, uncles, aunts, and relationships of that, and this and other degree, and what not degree, and marriages, and lying-ins, and switches. Tumblr might make fold of hands and make a ring round England. Receiving no reply at all here from the thoughtful man whom he addressed, Mr. Williams approached him nearer and made a feint of accidentally knocking the table with a decanter to rouse him. The moment he succeeded, he went on, as if in great electricity of acquaintances. Yes, sir, but that's what I say myself, sir. Mrs. Williams and me have often said so. There's switchness enough, he said, without our voluntary contributions, but, in fact, sir, my father and family in itself cast us to take care of, and happens all for the best that we have no child of our own, though it's made Mrs. Williams rather quiet-like too. Quite ready for the fowl and mashed potatoes, sir? Mrs. Williams said she dished in 10 minutes when I left the lodge. I'm quite ready, said the other, waking as from a dream and walking slowly to and fro. I literally fell asleep. It's on your thingy, so I'd add it. You didn't, Autumn? Oh my goodness. You gotta do it now. The music is relaxing. Yeah. Just some melancholy piano. Take care. Good night, Envo. Have a good rest. Mwah. And Merry Christmas. I'm quite ready, said the other, taking as from a dream and walking slowly to and fro. Mrs. William had been at it again, sir, said the keeper as he stood warming a plate at the fire and pleasantly shading his face with it. Mr. Redlaw stopped in his walking, and an expression of interest appeared to him. What I always say myself, sir, she will do it. There's a motherly feeling in Mrs. Williams' breast that must and will have met. What has she done? Why, sir, not satisfied with being the sort of mother to all the young gentlemen that come up from a variety of parts to attend a course of lectures at this ancient foundation. It's surprising how Stone Chaney catches the heat in this frosty weather, to be sure. Here he turned the plate and cooled his fingers. Well, said Mr. Redlaw. That's just what I said myself, sir, returned Mr. Williams, speaking over his shoulder, as if in ready and delighted assent. That's exactly where it is, sir. There ain't one of our students best appeared to regard Mrs. Williams in that light. Every day, right through the course, they puts the head to the lodge, one after another, and have all got something to tell her or something to ask her. Swidge isn't the appellation by which they speak of Mrs. Williams in general amongst themselves, I'm told, but that's what I say, sir. Better to be called ever so far out of your name, but it's done in real liking, and have it made ever so much of and not dead about. What's a name for? To know a person by? If Mrs. Williams is known by something better than her name, I allude to Mrs. Williams' qualities and disposition. Never mind her name, though. It is Swidger by right. Let him call her Swidge, Widge, Bridge, Lord, London Bridge, Blackfriars, Chelsea, Putney, Waterloo, and Hammersmith's superstition, if they like. Huh? I was just gonna yoink her Twitch PFP. Oh, you're missing mine? Autumn has mine. Autumn made mine. We're talking about the fish ones. The close of his triumphant oration brought with him the plate to the table, upon which he half laid and half dropped it with a lively sense of its being thoroughly heated, just as the subject of his praises entered the room, bearing another tray and a lantern, and followed by the venerable old man with long grey hair. Mrs. Williams, like Mr. William, was a simple, innocent-looking person, and whose smooth cheeks and cheerful red of her husband's official waistcoat was very pleasantly repeated. But whereas Mr. William's light colour light hair stood on end all over his head, and seemed to draw his eyes up with it. In an excess of bustling readiness for anything, the dark brown hair of Mrs. Williams was carefully smoothed down and waved away from her trim, tidy cap, in the most exact and quiet manner imaginable, whereas Mr. Williams' very trousers hitched themselves up at the ankles as if it were not in their iron-grey nature to rest without looking about them. Mrs. Williams' neatly flowered skirts, red and white, like her own pretty face, were as composed and orderly as if the very wind that blew so hard out of the doors could not disturb one of their folds. Whereas his coat had something of a flyaway and half-off appearance about the collar and breast, her little bodice was so placid and neat that there should have been protection for her in it, and she had needed any with the roughest people. Who could have had the heart to make so calm a bosom swell with grief, or throb with fear, or flutter with the thought of shame? To whom could its repose and peace have not appealed against disturbance, like the innocent slumber of a child? Punctual, of course, Milly, said her husband, relieving her of the tray. Or it wouldn't be you. Here's Mrs. Williams, sir. He looks lonelier than ever tonight, whispered to his wife as he walked away with the tray, and ghostlier altogether. Without any show of hurry or noise, or any show of herself even, she was so calm and quiet. Milly set the dishes as she brought upon the table. Mr. Williams, after much clattering and running about, having only gained possession of a butterboat of gravy which he stood ready to serve. "What is that old man has in his arms?" asked Mr. Redlaw as he sat down to his solitary meal. "Holly, sir," replied the quiet voice of Milly. "That's what I say myself, sir," interposed Mr. Williams, striking in with the butterboat. "Berries are so seasonal to the time of year. Brown gravy." "Another Christmas come and another year gone," murmured the chemist with a gloomy sigh. "More figures in the lengthening sum of recollection that we work and work to our torment, till death idly jumbles all together and rubs all out. So, Philip," breaking off and raising his voice as he addressed the older man, standing apart with his glistening burden in his arms, from which the quiet Miss William took small branches which she noisily trimmed with her scissors and decorated the room with, while her aged father-in-law looked on much interested in the ceremony. "My duty to you, sir," returned the old man. "Should have spoken before, sir, but know my your ways, Mr. Redlaw, proud to say, and wait till spoke to. Merry Christmas, sir, and Happy New Year of many of 'em. Have had a pretty many of 'em myself, and may take the liberty of wishing 'em. I'm 87. Have you had so many that were merry and happy?" asked the other. "Aye, sir, ever so many," returned the old man. "Is his memory impaired with age?" "It is expected now," said Mr. Redlaw, turning to the son and speaking lower. "Not a morsel of it, sir," replied Mr. William. "That's exactly what I say myself, sir. There never was such a memory as my father's. He's the most wonderful man in the world. He don't know... I don't think they're British. You don't know that forgetting means. It's the very observation I'm always making to Mrs. Williams, sir, if you'll believe me." Mr. Switchner, in his polite desire to seem to acquiesce at all events, delivered this as if there were no iota of contradiction in it, and it were all said in unbounded and unqualified assent. The chemist pushed his plate away, and rising from the table walked across the room to where the old man stood looking at a little sprig of holly in his hand. Goober Ghostly, thank you so much for the follow, welcome in. Hammersmith superstition, a reference to the Hammersmith ghost case? Probably, could be that. I was talking about a different thing. I'll show you later. Okie dokie, Hyro. It recalls a time when many of those years were old and new then, he said, observing him attentively and touching him on the shoulder. Does it? Oh, many, many, said Philip, half awake from his reverie. I'm 87. Merry and happy, was it? Asked the chemist in a low voice. Merry and happy, old man? Maybe as high as that, no higher, said the old man, holding out his hand a little way above the level of his knee and looking retrospectively at his questioner. When I first remember him, cold, sunshiny day, it was out a walking when someone, it was my mother, as sure as you stand there, though I don't know what her blessed face was like, for she took ill and died that Christmas time. Told me they were food for birds. The pretty little fellow thought, that's me, you understand, that birds' eyes were so bright, perhaps because the berries that lived on in the winter were so bright. I could recollect that. I recollect that, and I'm 87. Merry and happy, mused the other, bending his dark eyes upon the stooping figure with a smile of compassion. Merry and happy, and remember well. I, resumed the old man, catching the last words. I remember him well in my school time, year after year, and all the merrymaking that used to come along with them. I was a strong chap then, Mr. Redlaw, and if you'll believe me, hadn't my match at football till 10 mile. Where's my son William? Hadn't my match at football, William, 10 miles. That's what I always say, father, returned the son promptly, with great respect. You are a Switchner, if ever there was any of them in the family. Dear, said the old man, shaking his head as he again looked at the holly, his mother. My son William's my youngest son, and I have sat amongst 'em all, boys and girls, little children and babes, many a year when the berries like these were not shining half so bright around us as their bright faces. Many of 'em are gone, she's gone, and my son George, our eldest, who was her pride more than the rest, is fallen very low, but I can see them. When I look here, alive and healthy as they used to be in those days, and I can see him, thank God, in his innocence. It's a blessing thing to me at 87. I'll drink some Mola. Hi, Endless, welcome in. This is an odd sort of story so far. I'm having a little trouble understanding and like keeping up with what's happening. You know, it just kind of seems like they're just talking, you know, blah 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 blah, blabbing, which is interesting, right? It's not jumping straight into like the story. Zach the best, thanks for the follow. Welcome in. How are you? How's your night? Okay. The keen look that had been fixed upon him with so much earnestness had gradually sought the ground. When my circumstances got to be not so good as formerly, though not being honestly dealt by, when I first come here to be custodian, said the old man, which was upward of 50 years ago. Where's my son William? More than half a century ago, William. That's what I say, father, replied the son as promptly and dutifully as before. That's exactly where it is. 2 times ought's not, and twice 5 10, and there's 100 of them. Just quite a pleasure to know that one of our founders, or more correctly speaking, said the old man, with the great glory on his subject and his knowledge of it, one of the learned gentlemen that help endow us. They are British. Okay, because we're talking about Queen Elizabeth. It was quite a pleasure to know that one of the founders, or more correctly speaking, said the old man, with the great glory in his subject and his knowledge of it, one of the learned gentlemen and helped endow us in Queen Elizabeth's time, for we were founded before her day, left in his will amongst the other bequests he made of us, so much to buy holly for garnishing the walls and the windows come Christmas. There was something homely and friendly in it. Being but strange here then, and coming at Christmas time, we took a liking for his very picture that hangs in what used to be anciently for our 10 poor gentlemen commuted for an annual stipend in money, our great dinner hall. A sedate gentleman in a peaked beard, with a ruff around the neck, and a scroll below him, in old English letters, "Lord, keep my memory green." You know all about him, Mr. Redlaw. I know the portrait hangs there, Philip. Yes, sure, it's the second on the right above the panelling. I was going to say, he has helped to keep my memory green. I thank him for going round the building every year, as I'm doing now, and freshen up the bare rooms with these branches and berries, freshens up my bare old brain. One year brings back another, and that year another, and those other numbers. At last, it seems to me as if the birth time of our Lord was the birth time of all I have ever had affection for, or mourned for, or delighted in, and there are pretty many, for I'm 87. Merry and happy, murmured Redlaw to himself. The room began to darken strangely. So you see, sir, pursued old Philip, whose hale wintry cheek had warmed into a ruddier glow, and whose blue eyes had brightened while he spoke, I have plenty to keep when I keep this present season. Now, where's my quiet mouse? Chattering's the sin of my time and my life. There's half the building to do yet, if the cold don't freeze us fast, or the wind don't blow us away, or the darkness don't swallow us up. The quiet mouse had brought her calm face to his side, and silently taken his arm before he finished speaking. Come away, dear, said the old man. Mr. Redlaw won't settle for his dinner, otherwise, till it's cold as the winter. I hope you'll excuse me rambling on, sir, and I wish you good night, and once again, a merry— Stay, said Mr. Redlaw, resuming his place at the table more. It would have seemed from his manner to reassure the old keeper in any remembrance of his own appetite. Spare me a moment, Philip. William, you were going to tell me something to your excellent wife's honour. It will not be disagreeable for her to hear you praise her. What was it? Why, that's where it is, you see, sir, returned Mr. William Swidger, looking towards his wife in considerable embarrassment. Mrs. Williams got her eye upon me. But you're not afraid of Mrs. Williams' eye? Why, no, sir, returned Mr. Swidger. That's what I say myself. I wasn't made to be afraid of. It wouldn't have been made so wild if that was the intention, but I wouldn't like to— Really, him, you know, down in the building. Mr. Williams, standing beside the table and rummaging disconcertingly among the objects upon it, directed persuasive glances at Miss Williams and secret jerks of his head and thumb at Mr. Redlaw, as alluring towards him. Him, you know, my love, said Mr. William, down in the building. Tell, my dear, you're the works of Shakespeare in comparison with myself. Down in the buildings, you know, my love. Student, replied Mr. Redlaw, raising his head. That's what I say, sir, cried Mr. Williams in the utmost animation of assent. Oh, thank you for the care package. We'll do that really quick right now. Everybody sit up, tilt your head to the left, and tilt your head to the right. Look up, and look down. Oof. Sit up and drink some mama. Thank you for the care package, Annie. Valonia, thank you for the kiss. It might be under my hair. Yeah, it's on my shoulder. Do you see it? If I do you see it? It's like on my shoulder, on my left shoulder over here. It's under the braid. That's what I say, sir, cried Mr. Williams in the utmost animation of assent. If it wasn't the poor student down in the building, why should you wish to hear it from Mrs. Williams' lips? Mrs. Williams, my dear— Buildings. I didn't know, said Milly with a quiet frankness, free from any haste or confusion, that William had said anything about it, or I wouldn't have come. I asked him not to. It's a sick young gentleman, sir, very poor, I'm afraid, who is too ill to go home this holiday time, and lives, unknown to anyone, in but a common kind of lodging for a gentleman, down in Jerusalem buildings. That's all, sir. Why have I never heard of him? Said the chemist, rising hurriedly. Why has he not made his situation known to me? Sick. Give me my hat and cloak. Poor. What house? What number? Oh, you mustn't go there, sir, said Millie, leaving her father-in-law and calmly confronting him with her collected little face and folded hands. Not go there? Oh, dear no, said Millie, shaking her head, as at a most manifestation and self-evident impossibility. It couldn't be thought of. What do you mean? Why not? Why, you see, sir, said Mr. William Swidner persuasively and confidently, that's what I say. Depend on it, the young gentleman would never have made his situation known to one of his own sex. Mrs. Williams has got into his confidence, and that's quite different. They all confide into Mrs. Williams, they all trust her. A man, sir, couldn't have got a whisper out of him, but women, sir, and Miss Williams combined. There's good sense and delicacy in what you say, Williams, returned Mr. Redlaw, observant of the gentle and composed face at his shoulder, and laying his finger on his lips, he secretly put his purse into her hand. Oh dear, no, sir, cried Millie, giving it back again. Worse and worse, couldn't be dreamed of. Such a stated, matter-of-fact housewife she was, and so unruffled by the momentary haste of his rejection that, an instant afterwards, she was tidily picking up a few leaves which had strayed from between her scissors to her apron when she had arranged the holly. I don't know if the ads actually work, Gaga, because I've never seen them go through on ASMR, to be honest. I don't think they actually work on ASMR, you know? But, anyways, finding when she rose from her stooping posture that Mr. Redlaw was still regarding her with doubt and astonishment, she quietly repeated, looking about the while for any other fragments that might have escaped her observation. Oh dear no, sir. He said that all the world he would not be known to you or receive help from you, though he is a student in your class. I have made no terms of secrecy with you, but I trust to your honour completely. Why did he say so? Indeed, I can't tell, sir, said Millie after thinking a little. Because I'm not at all that clever, you know, and I wanted to be useful to him in making things neat and comfortable about him, and employed myself that way, but I know he is poor and lonely, and I think he is somehow neglected too. How dark it is! The room had darkened more and more. There was a heavy, very heavy gloom and shadow gathering behind the chemist's chair. What more about him? He asked. He's engaged to be married when he can afford it, said Millie, and is studying, I think, to qualify himself to earn a living. I have seen a long time that he has studied hard and denied himself much. How very dark it is! It's turned colder too, said the old man, rubbing his hands. There's a chill and dismal feeling in the room. Where's my son William? William, my boy, turn the lamp and rouse the fire. Millie's voice resumed, like quiet music, very softly played. He muttered in his broken sleep yesterday afternoon after talking to me. This was to herself. About someone dead and some great wrong done that could never be forgotten, and whether to him or to another person I don't know. Not by him, I am sure. And in short, Mr. Williams, you see, which she wouldn't say herself, Mr. Redlaw, if she was to stop here till the new year after the next one, said Mr. Williams, coming up to him to speak in his ear, has done him worlds of good. Bless you, worlds of good. All at home just the same as ever, my father made as snug and comfortable, not a crumb of litter to be found in the house. If you were to offer £50 ready money for it, Mrs. Williams apparently never out of the way, yet Mr. Williams backed and backwards and forwards, up and down, to mother him. The room turned darker and colder, and the gloom and shadow gathered behind the chair was heavier. Not content with this, sir, Mrs. Williams goes and finds this very night, when she's coming home, why, it's not above a couple hours ago, a creature more like a young wild beast than a young child, shivering upon a doorstep. What does Mrs. Williams do but brings it home to dry it and feed it and keep it till our old bounty of food and flannel is given away on Christmas morning? If it ever felt a fire before, it's as much as ever it did, for it's sitting in the old lodge chimney, staring at ours if its ravenous eyes would never shut again. Sitting there, at least, said Mr. Williams, correcting himself on reflection, unless it's bolted. Heavens keep her happy, said the chemist aloud, and you too, Philip, and you, William. I must consider what to do with this. I may desire to see the student. I'll not detain you any longer now. Good night. I thank you, sir, I thank you, said the old man, for Mouse and my son William, and for myself. Where's my son William? William, you take the lantern and go on first. Through them long dark passages, as you did the last year and the year before. I remember, though I'm 87, Lord, keep my memory green. It's a very good prayer, Mr. Redlaw, that of the learned gentleman in the peaked beard and the ruff around his neck, hangs up second on the right above the panelling in what used to be, for our 10 poor gentlemen communed, our great dining hall. Lord, keep my memory green. 'Tis very good and pious, sir. Amen. Amen. His brain, the old man's brain, is definitely sharp, but it definitely goes like left and right and left and right. You're never really sure, like, you understand what he's saying, but you're just like, yeah, what? Yes? Where are we going? It's so funny. As they passed out, mine too, right? I know people that are like that, right? One of my friends, I'll be having a conversation with them, and I'll be talking to them about something, and I'll ask them a question, and there's a pause. And then they'll go on saying something else that has nothing to do with whatever I just asked them. And they'll be like, oh, I didn't answer you. So XYZ. Anyways, and then they'll continue with like a fourth thing that has nothing to do with the previous 3 conversations we were already having. And I'm just like, huh? I think it's the ADD. Oh, you know, it definitely is. It takes me a moment to follow, but I can follow. It just takes me a moment because my thoughts are usually very linear. So, and I've forced myself to think that way. I used to be very scattered all over the place, but I've very much learned to kind of pull myself to stay on point, you know? I reply in my head sometimes, but it doesn't come out of the mouth. Yep, I have done that. I have done that plenty of times. Alright, drink some more coffee and we'll continue. Yum, yum, yum. As he passed out and shut the heavy door, which, however carefully withheld, fired a long train of thundering reverberations when it shut at last, the room turned darker. As he fell amusing in his chair alone, the healthy holly withered on the wall and dropped dead branches. As the gloom and shadow thickened behind him in a place where it had been gathered so darkly, it took, by slow degrees, or out of it there came, by some unreal, unsubstantial process, not to be traced by any human sense, an awful likeness of himself, ghastly and cold, colorless in its laden face and hands, but with its features, and his bright eyes, and his grizzled hair, and dressed in the gloomy shadow of his dress. It came into his terrible appearance of existence, motionless, without a sound, as he leaned his arm upon the elbow of his chair, ruminating before the fire, It leaned upon the chair back, close above him, with its appalling copy of his face, looking where his face looked, and bearing the expression his face bore. This, then, was the something that had passed and gone already. This was the dread companion of the haunted man. It took, for some moments, no more apparent heed of him than if the Christmas waits, were playing somewhere in the distance, and through his thoughtfulness he seemed to listen to the music. It seemed to listen too. At length he spoke, without moving or lifting up his face. "Here again," he said. "Here again," replied the phantom. "I see you in the fire," said the haunted man. "I hear you in music, in the wind, in the dead stillness of the night." The phantom moved its head, assenting. "Why do you come to haunt me thus?" "I come as I am called," replied the ghost. "No, unbidden," exclaimed the chemist. "Unbidden be it," said the spectre. "It is enough. I am here." Hitherto the light of the fire had shone upon the two faces. If the dread lineage behind the chair might be called a face, both assessed forward towards it. Let me untangle this really quick. There we go, much better. Both addressed towards it, as first, and neither looking at the other. But now the haunted man turned suddenly and stared upon the ghost. The ghost, as sudden in its motions, passed to before the chair there and stared on him. The living man and the animated image of himself dead might so have looked, the one upon the other. An awful survey in a long and remote part of an empty old pile of buildings, on a winter night, with a loud wind going by upon its journey of mystery. Whence the whither no man knowing since the world began, and the stars in unimaginable millions glittering through it, from eternal space, where the world's bulk is as grain and its hoary age is infancy. What is that word? Hoary? Grayish white, okay. And its grayish white age is infancy. "Look upon me," said the spectre. "I am he, neglected in my youth and miserable, poor, who strove and suffered and still strove and suffered until I hewed out knowledge from mine where it was buried, and made rugged steps thereof for my worn feet to rest and rise on." "I am that man," returned the chemist. "No mother's self-denying love," pursued the phantom, "no father's counsel aided me. A stranger came to my father's place when I was but a child, and I was easily an alien from my mother's heart. My parents, at the best, were the sort who cared soon ends, and whose duty is soon done, who casts their offspring loose early as birds do theirs, and if they do well, claim the merit, and if ill, the pity." It paused, and seemed to tempt and goad him with its look, and with the manner of its speech, and with its smile. "I am he," persuaded the phantom, "who in this struggle upward found a friend. I made him, won him, bound him to me. We worked together, side by side, all the love and confidence that in my earlier youth had had no outlet, and found no expression, I bestowed on him." "Not all," said Redlaw hoarsely. "No, not "Oh," replied the phantom, "I had a sister." The haunted man, with his head resting on his hands, replied, "I had." The phantom, with an evil smile, drew closer to the chair and rested its chin upon its folded hands upon the back, and looked down into his face with searching eyes that seemed indistinct with fire, went on. "Such glimpses of the light of home as I had never known had streamed from her. How young she was, how fair, how loving. I took her for the first poor roof that I was master of, and made it rich. She came into the darkness of my life and made it bright. She is before me. I saw her in the fire, but now I hear her in music, in the wind, in the dead stillness of the night," returned the haunted man. "Did he love her?" said the phantom, echoing his contemplative tone. "I think he did, once. I'm sure he did. Better had she loved him less secretly, less dearly, from the shallow depths of a more divided heart." "Let me forget it," said the chemist, with an angry motion of his hand. "Let me blot it from my memory." The spectre, without stirring, with his unwinking, cruel eyes fixed upon his face, went on. "A dream like hers, stolen upon my own life. It did," said Redlaw. "A love as like hers," pursued the phantom, "as my inferior nature might cherish, arose in my own heart. I was too poor to bind its object to my fortune then by any thread of promise or entreaty. I loved her far too well to seek to do it. But more than ever I had striven in my life. I strove to climb. Only an inch gained brought me something nearer to the height. I toiled up. In the late pauses of my labor at the time, my sister, sweet companion, still sharing with me the expiring embers and the cooling hearth when day was breaking, what pictures the future did I see? I saw them in the fire, but now," he murmured, "they come back to me in music, in the wind, and the dead stillness of the night, in revolving years. Pictures of my own domestic life in lifetime." Arkentos! Hi, Mansform. Thank you for the coffee order. Hi, Arkentos. How are you? Merry Christmas! Raka! Merry Christmas, Raka! Welcome in, welcome in. How are you? How's your night? Hope you're doing good. We are doing story time right now, so if you guys would like to hang out, you're more than welcome to. I saw them in the fire, but now, he murmured, they come back to me in music, in the wind, in the dead stillness of the night, in the revolving years, pictures of my own domestic life in lifetime, with her who was the inspiration of my toil, pictures of my sister, made the wife of my dear friend, on equal terms, for he had some inheritance, we none. Pictures of our sobered age and mellowed happiness, and of the golden links extending back so far that should bind us and our children in a radiant garland, said the phantom. Pictures, said the haunted man, that were delusions. Why is it my doom to remember them too well? Delusions, echoed the phantom in its changeless voice, and glaring on him with its changeless eyes. For my friend, in whose breast my confidence was locked in my own, passing between me and the center of the system of my hopes and struggles, won her for himself, and shattered my frail universe. My sister, doubly dear, doubly devoted, doubly cheerful in my home, lived on to see me famous, and my old ambition so rewarded when its spring was broken, and then died, he interposed, died, gentle as ever, happy, and with no concern but for her brother. Peace. The phantom watched him silently. Chilling after taking down robots and creatures? Ah, sounds like a good one. Good night, Kono baby. Have a good rest. Good night, good night, good night. Rest well. Remembered, said the haunted man. Remembered, said the haunted man after a pause. Yes, so remembered that even now, when the years have passed, and nothing is more idle or more visionary to me than the boyish love so long outlived, I think it was with sympathy, as it were a younger brother's or a son's. Sometimes I even wonder when her heart first inclined to him, and how it had been affected towards me. Not lightly once, I think, but that is nothing. Early unhappiness, a wound from a hand I loved and trusted, and a loss that nothing can replace, outlived such fancies. Thus, said the phantom, I bear with me a sorrow and a wrong. Thus I prey upon myself. Thus memory is my curse, and if I could forget my sorrow and my wrong, I would. Mocker, said the chemist, leaping up and making with a wrathful hand at the throat of his other self. Why have I always that taunt in my ears? Forbearer, exclaimed the spectre in an awful voice, lay your hand on me and die. He stopped midway, as if its words had paralyzed him, and stood looking on it. It had glided from him. It had its arms raised high in warning, and a smile passed over its unearthly features as it reared its dark figure in triumph. If I could forget my sorrow and wrong, I would, the ghost repeated. If I could forget my sorrow and wrong, I would. Evil spirit of myself, returned the haunted man in a low, trembling tone. My life is darkened by the insistent whisper. It is an echo, said the phantom. If it be an echo of my thoughts, as now indeed I know it is, rejoined the haunted man, why should I therefore be tormented? It is not a selfish thought. I suffer it to range beyond myself. All men and women have their sorrows, most of them their wrongs, ingratitude and sordid jealousy and interest besetting all degrees of life. Who would not forget their sorrows and their wrongs? Who would not, truly, and be happier and be better for it, said the phantom. These revolutions of years which were commemorate, proceeded Redlaw, what do they recall? Are there any minds in which they do not reawaken some sorrow or some trouble? What is the remembrance of the old man who was here tonight, a tissue of sorrow and trouble? But common natures, said the phantom with its evil smile on its glassy face. Unenlightened minds and ordinary spirits do not feel or reason on these things like men of higher cultivation and profounder thought. Temper, answered Redlaw, whose hollow look and voice I dread more than the words can express, and from whom some dim foreshadowing of greater fear is stealing over me while I speak. I hear again an echo of my own mind. Receive it as proof that I am powerful, returned the ghost. Hear what I offer. Forget the sorrow, wrong, and trouble you have known. Forget them, he repeated. I have the power to cancel the remembrance, to leave but very faint, confused traces of them that will die out soon, returned the spectre. Say, it is done. Stay, cried the haunted man, arrested by a terrified gesture, the uplifted hand. I tremble with distrust and doubt of you, and the dim fear you cast upon me deepens into a nameless horror I could hardly bear. I would not deprive myself of any kindly recollection or any sympathy that is good for me or others. What shall I lose if I assent to this? What else will pass for my remembrance? No knowledge, no result of study, nothing but the intertwisted chain of feelings and associations, each in its turn dependent on and nourished by the banished recollections. Those will go. Are there so many? Said the haunted man, reflecting in alarm. They have been wont to show themselves in the fire, in music, in the wind, in the dead stillness of the light, in the revolving years, returned the phantom scornfully. In nothing else. The phantom held its peace. But having stood before him, silent for so little while, it moved towards the fire, then stopped. Decide, it said, before the opportunity is lost. A moment. I recall heaven to witness, said the agitated man, that I have never been a hater of any kind, never morose, indifferent, or hard to anything around me. If, living here alone, I have made too much of all that was and might have been, and too little of what is, the evil I believe has befallen me, and not on others. But if there were poison in my body, should I not, possessed of antidotes and knowledge how to use them, then? If there be poison in my mind, and through this fearful shadow I cast it out, shall I not cast it out? Say, said the spectre, is it done? A moment longer, he answered hurriedly. I would forget it if I could. Have I thought that alone, or has it been the thought of thousands upon thousands, generations after generation? All human memory is fraught with sorrow and trouble. My memory is the memory of other men, but other men have not this choice. Yes, I close the bargain. Yes, I will forget my sorrow, wrong, and trouble. Say, said the spectre, is it done? It is. It is. And take this with you, man whom I here renounce. The gift that I have given, you shall give again, go where you will. Without recovering yourself the power that you have yielded up, you shall henceforth destroy its like in all whom you approach. Your wisdom has discovered that your power of sorrow, wrong, and trouble is the lot of all mankind, and that mankind would be the happier in its other memories. Without it, go, be its benefactor, freed from such remembrance from this hour, carry involuntarily the blessings of such freedom with you. Its diffusion is inseparable and inalienable from you. Go, be happy in the good you have won and in the good you do. The phantom, which held its bloodless hand above him while it spoke, as if in some unholy invocation or some ban, and which had gradually advanced its eyes so close to his that he could see how they did not participate in the terrible smile upon his face, but were fixed, unalterable, steady, horror melted before him, and was gone. As he stood rooted to the spot, possessed by fear and wonder, and imagining he heard repeated in melancholy echoes, dying away fainter and fainter, the words, "Destroy its like in all whom you approach," a shrill cry reached his ears. It came not from the passages beyond the door, but from another part of the old building. It sounded like the cry of someone in the dark who had lost the way. He looked confused upon his hands and limbs, as if to be assured of his identity, and then shouted in reply, loudly and wildly, for there was strangeness and terror upon him, as if he too were lost. The cry responded, and being nearer, he caught the lamp and raised a heavy curtain in the hall, by which he was accustomed to pass into and out of the theatre where he lectured, which adjoined his room, associated with youth and animation and a high amphitheatre of faces, which his entrance charmed to interest in a moment. It was ghostly placed, when all his life was faded out of it, and stared upon him like an emblem of death. "Hello," he cried. "Hello, this way, come to the light." When he held the curtain with one hand, and with the other raised the lamp and tried to pierce the gloom that filled the place, something rushed past him into the room like a wildcat, and crouched down in a corner. "What is this?" he said hastily. He might have asked, "What is it?" even if he had seen it well, as presently he did when he stood looking at it gathered up in its corner. A bundle of tatters, held together by a hand in size and form almost an infant's, but in its greedy, desperate little clutch, a bad old man's. A face rounded and smoothed by some half-dozen years, but pinched and twisted by the experiences of a life. Bright eyes, but not youthful. Naked feet, beautiful in their childish delicacy. Ugly in the blood and dirt that cracked upon them. A baby savage, a young monster, a child who had never been a child, a creature who might have taken outward form of a man, but who within would live and perish a mere beast. Used already to be worried and hunted like a beast, the boy crouched down as he was looked at, and looked back again, and interposed his arm to ward off the expected blow. "I'll bite," he said, "if you hit me." The time had been, and not many minutes since, when such a sight as this would have wrung the chemist's heart. He looked upon it now, coldly, but with a heavy effort to remember something. He did not know what. He asked the boy what he did there, and whence he came. "Where's the woman?" he replied. "I want to find the woman." "Who?" "The woman. Her that brought me here and set me into the lodge fire. She's so long gone that I went to look for her and lost myself. I don't want you. I want the woman." He made a spring so suddenly to get away that the dull sound of his naked feet upon the floor was near the curtain, when Redlock caught him by his rags. "Come." "You let me go," muttered the boy, struggling and clenching his teeth. "I've done nothing to you. Let me go, will you, to the woman?" "That is not the way. There is a nearer one," said Redclaw, detaining him in the same blank effort to remember some association that ought of right to bear upon the monstrous object. "What's your name?" "Got none." "Where do you live?" "Live? What's that?" The boy shook his hair from his eyes and took from him a moment, and then, twisting around his legs and wrestling with him, broke again into his repetition of, "You let me go, will you? I want to find the woman." The chemist led him to the door. "This way," he said, looking at him still confusedly, with repugnance and avoidance growing out of his coldness. "I'll take you to her." The sharp eyes in the child's head, wandering around the room, lighted on the table where the remains of the dinner were. "Give me some of that," he said covetously. "Has she not fed you?" "I shall be hungry again tomorrow, shan't I? I ain't hungry every day." Finding himself released, he bounded at the table like some small animal of prey, and hugging to his breast bread and meat, his own rags all together, said, "There, now take me to the woman." As the chemist, with the newborn dislike to touch him, sternly motioned him to follow, and was going out of the door, he trembled and stopped. "The gift that I given, you shall give again. Go where you will go. Go where you will." The phantom's words were blowing in the wind, and the wind blew chill upon him. I'll not go there tonight, he murmured faintly. I'll go nowhere tonight. Boy, straighten down this long arch passageway and past the great dark door into the yard. You see the fire shining in the window there? The woman's fire? Inquired the boy. He nodded, and the naked feet had sprung away. He came back with his lamp, locked his door hastily, and sat down in his chair, covering his face like one who is frightened at himself. For now he was indeed alone. 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 Okay. So it seems like the chemist, Redlaw? I believe that's their name. Redlaw, I think it was Redlaw, made a deal with the ghost to forget his deepest sorrows, his deepest, like, whatever it was that was making him, what's the word? Angry or sad. Whatever that memory was, it took it away from him, but it also, like, took away all the years that he spent in school to become knowledgeable. And this guy's a professor. He teaches people. So now he can no longer do that because they took his schooling. They took it from him for this bargain, right? Would you guys take that? That sucks, right? You spent years and years to perfect some type of skill or ability, and it takes away your, not just the memory, but it feels like it also takes away your ability to make more feelings of, like, sadness, right? Because when something happens to you, you don't just forget the memory, right? Because basically what I'm thinking happens from the last little passage when he's talking to this poor boy, right, is he doesn't just forget the event of the sad thing, he forgets how to feel those feelings. He doesn't have empathy anymore. So he's looking at this kid who is poor in rags, doesn't have shoes. It's the middle of the winter. His feet are so blistered and worn out. And the kid's hungry, right? Thank you for the flowers. Hi, Amari, how are you? And Spider Sickle, thanks for the follow earlier. I'm so sorry. And so, like, he not only forgets the memory of the thing that made him really sad, but he forgets how to feel sad. He forgets how to feel just any type of sadness, right? Which means when he's looking at this kid, he can't feel anything for him, you know? And I think I would not be able to take that deal. I would rather be able to still feel sadness, be able to still have that ability regardless of the sad thing that happened to me that makes me big sad. Because this guy is supposed to be not that old, so whatever it is that is making him feel the big sads has to do with his sister. I don't know if it actually is his sister. Maybe like someone that he met that he loved as if she was his sister, but she married his friend instead of him. That's what I'm thinking is what happened, because the way that the story is being told is very like, huh? You know? Hi Riot, welcome in, how are you? It's not super easy to follow along with, you know? Let me see. It's supposed to be 3 chapters. I don't know if I can do all 3. I do want to see what happens, but it's more than I can read tonight. I feel like it's more than I can read tonight. I might have to wait. I think I'm gonna wait until, let me think. I wasn't planning on streaming next Monday or Tuesday, but maybe I'll do, yeah, maybe I'll do a stream next Tuesday, because I do like Tuesday reading nights, just so that we can finish the story, because I do want to finish it. I do want to finish it. It's only 3 chapters, but they are a little long. And because we did the thing with the tree earlier, I feel like that ate into the time of reading, you know. Hi Cherry Mouse, how are you? How's your night? Hope you're doing good. I'll go ahead and put those away. But yeah. How's your Christmas so far? You having a good winter break? What did you do today? Did you do anything interesting for the winter break? Yeah, I think we're gonna do that. So chapter 2 and 3 of Haunted, it's called Haunted Man. The Haunted Man, yeah. Of Haunted Man and Ghosts. Bargain. That way I have it set to at least finish it. Because I kind of want to see if my assumption is correct. Because they don't really clarify that the boy, right? That the boy is the one. Sorry, that the gentleman isn't able to feel empathy, but that's kind of what it's making me think. You know, it's kind of making me think that he can't feel empathy. Especially because, like, because if you think about it, right? If somebody says, yeah, so I can take the saddest thing that ever happened to you, I can take that away from you. And I can make it so that you no longer remember those things, you know? But in doing so, do you also lose your ability to feel empathy, you know? To pick up my grandfather's Christmas gift. What did you get him? Did you get him anything really good? And I kind of think that's what's happening. I kind of think that's what's happening with the story. I'm actually gonna look it up because I can't. No, I want to read the story because I kind of feel like that's going to be our best way of figuring it out. You know, because it's interesting so far. I think it's so interesting, right? I got him an engraved knife with his first initial and name on the handle. He's going to love that. Oh, I love that. And Donnie, thanks for the follow. Welcome in, cutie. How are you? In the meantime, I do have a little bit of time before we're going to raid on out. So what I'm gonna do is we're gonna read one other thing. It was something I was planning on reading at the end of tonight anyways. So let me see if I can find it. Oh. Yes. All right. All right, guys. To lose empathy as if almost a lost soul. Right? That would be terrible. That would be so bad. Because, like, it's one thing Right. Let me change the music really quick. All right. I kind of feel like for the next book I'm going to read, the next story, this would be the most appropriate. But I definitely feel like that's what would happen, right? There you go. Like I said, I kind of feel like that's what would happen, right? Is if somebody said, I can take away the thing that's going to make you the most sad, and then you won't be able to feel sad again, they're taking away their empathy. They're going to be taking away the thing that lets us feel those feelings. I hope this will cut off the story time for a bit. If it does, I'm sorry for my grandfather was... Will cut off the story? If it does, I'm sorry. My grandfather was staff surgeon in the Marines for 6 years, and I wanted to pay respect to his military lineage, which is why my mom suggested this knife, and she's gonna make him a cup for me. Give him, and of course I did pay for both, but it's worth it for all the good he's done for the country and also grandfather as well. Oh, that's gonna be so cute. I think he'll really like it. I think he'll really, really enjoy it. Alright. We're gonna do one other little story before we call it a night. I have read this one before, but I've never done it live. So we're gonna go ahead. It's like, right? It's so interesting. That's why I'm like, I really want to read more, but it's, I don't know if I can go another 2 hours, and it kind of feels like the one chapter took about 2 hours, you know? And that was with me rarely pausing, you know? So I think we're gonna continue next Tuesday. I wasn't planning on it, but I think we will. I'm gonna say it's tentative. We might do it at the beginning of January. Just kind of depends on, you know, how things are. Nope. Nope, 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 nope. This one. There you go. You know. Continuing next Tuesday for any other time sounds good. Yes. So I want to do this thing, right? Remember on before we did our little break, right? We did every other Tuesday, but I think starting in January, I'm gonna have every Tuesday be reading night, so it's consistent. And then Monday will be the like triggers or a game or just chatting, you know? Because I think Monday is a good night to kind of be loosey-goosey about it, and then Tuesday be our reading club nights, you know? Some hot cocoa with chili made by my youngest sister. Oh, that sounds so good. That sounds really good. Alright, how's the music volume? Is it good? Oh, you know what? I don't think it's gonna play. Yeah, it's not gonna play on this scene. I can give you back your points. Arcantus, I'm so sorry. Those will not play on this scene. Really quick, Obliterator, thank you for the check-in. Belle, thank you for the check-in. Super Totzel, thank you for the coffee order. Carnage, thank you for the coffee order. I will add that. Thanatos, thank you for the coffee order. ETZ, thank you for the coffee order. Celltop, thank you for the coffee order. Endless, thank you for the coffee order. Valonia, Men's Room, thank you for the coffee order. Arcantos, thank you for the coffee order. Oh no. Amari, thank you for the coffee order. And Jerry, thank you for the coffee order. Alright. Volume is good? It's good? Perfect. Alright, let's go ahead and let's get cozy. Loosey-goosey is a fun word. I like loosey-goosey. I think it's a very fun word. Bertsley. Bertlesby. Oh my god, I'm so bad with your name. I'm so sorry. Bertlesby, thanks for the follow. For the coffee order. Bertlesby, I'm so sorry. Free kiss just cuz. And Ben, thank you for the coffee order. Alright. Last story of the night. This one I think you guys know. You guys ready? Do I need my Santa hat on? I think I need my Santa hat on. Let's see if I can find it. Here we go. We'll do this one. We'll do this Santa hat. Dun dun. It's not perfect, but you know what? It'll do. All right. Santa's hat need. Oh, definitely need Santa's hat. Okay. You guys ready? You guys ready for this one? 'Twas the night before Christmas, when all through the house not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. The stockings were hung by the chimney with care, in hopes that Saint Nicholas soon would be there. The children were nestled all snug in their beds, while visions of sugar plums danced in their heads. And Mamma in her kerchief and I in my cap had just settled our brains for a long winter's nap, when out on the lawn there arose such a clatter, I sprang from my bed to see what was the matter. Away to the window I flew like a flash, tore open the shutters and threw up the sash. The moon on the breast of the new fallen snow gave a luster of midday to objects below. And what to my wandering eyes did appear but a miniature sleigh and 8 tiny reindeer. With the little old driver so lively and quick, I knew in a moment he must be Saint Nick. More rapid than eagles his coursers they came, and he whistled and he shouted and he called them by name. You guys know their names. I know you guys know their names. Now Dasher, now Dancer, now Prancer and Vixen, on Comet, on Cupid, on Donder and Blitzen, to the top of the porch, to the top of the wall, now dash away, dash away, dash away all. As leaves that before the wild hurricane fly, when they met with an obstacle mount to the sky, so up to the housetop the coursers they flew, with the sleigh full of toys and Saint Nicholas too. And then in a twinkling I heard on the roof the prancing and pawing of each little hoof. As I drew in my head and was turning around, down the chimney Saint Nicholas came with a bound. He was dressed in all fur from his head to his foot, and his clothes they were tarnished with ashes and soot. A bundle of toys he had flung on his back, and he looked like a peddler just opening his pack. His eyes, how they twinkled, his dimples, how merry, his cheeks were like roses, his nose like a cherry. His droll little mouth was drawn up like a bow, and the beard on his chin was as white as the snow. The stump of a pipe held tight in his teeth, and the smoke it encircled his head like a wreath. He had a broad face and a little round belly that shook when he laughed, like a bowl full of jelly. He was chubby and plump and a right jolly old elf, and I laughed when I saw him, in spite of myself. A wink of his eye and a twist of his hand soon gave me to know I had nothing to dread. He spoke not a word, but went straight to his work and filled all the stockings and then turned with a jerk. He lay a finger inside. He lay a finger aside of his nose. Oh my goodness. Good night, Noah. Oh my god. Oh my god. I'm trying not to. I'm trying so hard not to laugh so hard. Oh my god. It's literally just another Twerks of Sorrow. Oh my god. Oh my god. Every time I read something, my brain is like, okay, but what if they did this instead though? That'd be funny, huh? Oh my god. That was so funny. Honestly, the minute I saw Weewa, oh my god, hi Weewa, I love you. Oh my gosh, that was too funny. I'm a secret silent gremlin, it's true. Uno reverse? You can't Uno reverse my love, what the fuck? That's fucked up, bro. Get any of Santa's gold? No, because he wasn't digging for any kind he was looking for. Oh my gosh. In the caves of the nose. Oh my gosh, get some sleep. Favorite calm vibes. Of course, Autumn, have a good rest. Good night, good night, good night. Keep the nose cold away, Santa. I'm sorry, it was meant. That's what he's gonna do, Gaga. No longer is Santa gonna give you cold. Santa's no longer gonna give you cold. What he's gonna do, right, is he's going to, he's gonna give you boogers. That's what he's gonna do. He's giving you boogers, Gaga. That's what he's gonna give you. Ah, this hat. Okay, much better. Close enough anyways. Okay. Alright. Use a coal to cook. Yeah, well, that's why he can't do it anymore. Plus, coal's really expensive. So he's downgrading everybody to boogers instead. Thank you for the flowers. He's Sungle. Hi, how are you? Oh my gosh, that was funny. Okay. Alright, we're gonna back up a little bit. If you're extra nice. Foolproof plan for me to move, get coal, cook, profit. Yeah, well, you can't do that anymore. Thank you for the head pass. without the boogers, with booger smooth. I don't know. Just you're just gonna have to eat his boogers, Gaga, and that's it. That's where you're stinky. Should be nice and extra clumpy, maybe with some air. It's gonna be covered in soot because he has to go down the chimneys, you know. Just saying. Ew. You think, Gaga, you think I'm gonna eat anything you ever hand me? That's crazy. Okay. Alright, we're gonna back up a little bit. And we're gonna finish this. That was too funny. That was too funny. He had a broad face and a little round belly that shook when he laughed like a bowl full of jelly. He was chubby and plump and a right jolly old elf, and I laughed when I saw him in spite of myself. A wink of his eye and a twist of his head soon gave me to know I had nothing to dread. He spoke not a word and went straight to his work and filled all the stockings, then turned with a jerk and lay a finger aside of his nose and gave a nod. Up the chimney he rose. He sprang to his sleigh, to his team gave a whistle, and away they all flew like the down of a thistle. But I heard him exclaim, ere he drove out of sight, "Happy Christmas to all, and to all a good night." I'm gonna be thinking about that for the rest of the night. I can message Weewa after stream and be like, "Weewa, Santa picks his nose." Oh my gosh. Too funny. That was too good. Bum, 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 bum. Da, da. The longest reading of that I've ever heard. Yeah, it took me forever. It took me like 90 years. It's true. I'm gonna blame Weewa on that one. I knew they were here and I just got flustered. It's true. Special edition reading. Oh my gosh. Alright, let's see. Ba-da-da-da-dum, bum 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 bum. You know what? We can actually we can add a couple more ornaments to the tree because I think we had a few people do add an ornament. Mountain Pilot, thanks for the daily check-in. Super. You want a heart, so you want red. Okay. Let's see here. All right, let's go over here. Go here, and we'll open these. Ha 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 ha. Okay. Let's see. Isn't she lovely? Isn't she wonderful? Oh, that's really loud. Sorry about that. It's like everything else was really quiet and then this one was like super loud. Let's try this one. Nope, I hate it. I hate it already. Alright. Okay, so Super, you wanted a... I'll put it right here, actually. You wanted... Okay. You said you wanted a heart, but I don't do custom shapes. So I will do a red spotted ornament for you. Laughs just keep egging us on. I'm sorry. I was trying so hard not to laugh. Oh, okay. Alright, here we go. We'll do a red one. Wiwa, would you like to add an ornament to the tree? Wiwa. Wiwa. Sure. Okay. We'll go ahead and we'll do that. Thank you to everybody for hanging out with me over on YouTube. I'm going to go ahead and I will see you next time.